stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh, go, rock, freak, don't stop, oh.
Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Who put that ball in the Wednesday net? Super Tyrese Campbell.
That was Shaun Needham, and this is the Sheffield United Hodcast. The reason I put so much emphasis on the H in Hodcast is not because I'm hacking something up, it's because the Oddcast would be a little bit weird. So this is the Sheffield United Hodcast. I'm Matt, and as the John Daly to my Happy Gilmore, it's Jonny. Say hello, Jonny.
Evening.
Thank you very much. So, what we're going to do tonight, we are going to try and talk about the transfer window for Sheffield United. We're going to look at the ins, we're going to look at the outs, and we're going to give each one a grading. And then we're both going to give our best 11. We're also going to try and give the transfer window as a whole a grading out of 10. And we're going to talk about how long Ruben Sayers has still got in his role. Sound all right for you, that, Jonny?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So, without further ado, here we go. Some good names here. So, if we're on to the ins, so United have had a very, very busy transfer window. We started trying to tot up the number of players, didn't we, Jonny, and give each one a time limit, and we thought, actually, we're just going to be here all night. So, we're going to start with, basically what we've done, we've decided to give each one a grade, haven't we, Jonny? So, we're going to say that they're either a first-teamer, they're a squad player, or they're one for the future. That's on the ins. And then when we come to the outs, we're going to say that it was good business, it was no choice, or it's a mistake. Okay? I haven't seen what Johnny's done. He hasn't seen what I've done, so it's going to be a bit of a reveal. And then we might have a little argument with each other as we go. Johnny's told me that I've got to say all the names, so thank you very much for that. So we're going to start with the number one. United signed Ahije Ukake from Botev Plovdiv. I've gone that he's one for the future. What about you, Jonny?
Yeah, absolutely one for the future. I would say it was a major part of this these AI signings. In my opinion, he shouldn't be near the side this season. He signed for an undisclosed fee. He was meant to be one of the hot prospects in Bulgarian football, but the standard of that, judge like yourself, it's probably as bad as Scottish. He played against Birmingham in the Cup. He looked like a little schoolboy, I'll be honest. He looked like a little schoolboy lost. We didn't play well that night, but he didn't look like he's fully grown to me.
I'm going to disagree slightly. I do reckon, yes, he's one for the future. However, I don't think he was that bad that night against Birmingham. This was not Traore up front in the Premier League on the opening day against Crystal Palace. I was sat there in Skiathos with a pint of beer and just couldn't believe that we got Willa Sula and Traore up front together. He looked a little bit sharper than that, but he's definitely one for the future for me. Right winger, he's pacey. I don't think he's up to scratch yet, as he hasn't got the stamina to keep going. But I don't think he disgraced himself on his debut. Sound all right to you, that? So that was him, one for the future. Tyler Bindon, he joined us on loan from Forest. I think this one's a Ruben Sayers signing. What did you give him, Jonny?
Squad player. When he actually signed, I was quite looking forward to seeing him play. Heard some good things about him, read a lot of reviews online about him. Actually saw him play for Reading a couple of times last season, and he looked decent. But obviously that jump up from League One to the Championship is going to be a massive step. He's looked out of his depth, in my opinion, this season. Home to Bristol City, the second goal, 4 yards off the pace. The guy turned him. He he went out for a fag somewhere and they squared it across and scored. Didn't cover himself in glory at Middlesbrough. We had discussed that on the other night's show. And I just think I think it's a strong level of championship for him.
I agree with you. Squad player for Tyler Bindon. I think Sayers probably was hoping he'd be able to make the step up a little bit faster. He's a ball-playing centre-half. I mean, at the end, he's the kind of player I would sign on Football Manager. He'd be like a decent signing on Football Manager, and you think, yeah, I can get a decent resale on him. The reality is we brought him in on loan to play. And for a side challenging at the top of the championship, not necessarily sure that that's a great idea.
I think if you go back to when Bindon signed, if he'd have hit the ground running, these players that we're going to discuss further down the list, there wouldn't have been as many signing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I genuinely think you're right there, Jonny, in that Sayers had put a lot on Bindon coming in, hitting the ground running, and him and another, probably not Robinson, because I don't think he wanted Robinson, would have been okay. I think ideally for Sayers, he'd have probably kept Bindon and Ahmedodzic. That'd have been the dream for him. Have those two decent ball-playing centre-halves, because as big as Anella is and as big as Bindon is, they're ball players. They're not your Edit Kickett centre-halves. They want to bring it down, don't they, and do something. I know that people have said, like, on different reviews and what have you, is an Edit Kickett. Bindon's not. You can tell he's got a little bit more about him, hasn't he?
Yeah, just my final point on Bindon, not just the defensive side of it, but I've never felt like we're not going to score from a corner as much as this season so far with Bindon as one of the centre-halves. He never looks like getting on the end of it.
Interesting point. Right, third signing in we're going to talk about is Mihail Polenkadov, and he joined us from September Sofia. I've got him down as one for the future. If you listen to me, Dad, because he's an A1 signing, not AI, A1 when you talk to me, Dad. He's an A1 signing. Apparently, he's the best player to come out of Bulgaria ever. One for the future, right back. Don't know what you've got on that one, Jonny. I don't know how much you've listened to me, Dad, on that one.
Yeah, again, just reading into the situation when he signed, it said that it was an exciting prospect for Bulgarian football. But again, that bar is incredibly low compared to what we're playing in. He's capped for Bulgaria under-19s. Again, what standard that is, we don't really know. Signed for an undisclosed fee. I think it broke the record, that one, for Bulgarian football.
Really?
Yeah. So,
wow.
He's one for. I've put him down as one for the future. Again, I would have expected him to maybe be in and around the squad for that Birmingham game. Wasn't.
He's not that old though, is he? What is he? 20?
Yeah, a 20-year-old. So again, I can't see him being in around the squad this season. I think I'm surprised that a couple of these young guys from Bulgaria haven't gone out on loan.
I suppose a lot of it does boil down to what United have got to do. Have they got to be around the squad for so long in order to get work permits? I mean, hands up, I don't know a lot of that around what they've got to do. You might know a little bit more than me on that one.
I think they have to play a percentage of games, which is, again, why I thought they would have gone out. And I'm not sure if because they're under 21, you don't have to allocate them that ESC place.
Right.
So they're all right for that. So they're classed as like a free place. But I can't see them playing much this season.
Well, I mean, if you want anything more, anyone that's listening about ESC, the Sheffield United way, which know far more than us, don't they, Jonny, and they know more people and what have you, and they're involved with more people, they've done a decent thing around ESC, so there's a little bit more on there. But that's Mihail Polenkadov, did it twice. Next one for us is Louis Barry. He's joined on loan from Aston Villa. Decent pedigree, Louis Barry. I have gone for squad for Louis Barry. What about you?
So if you're asking me when he first signed, he would have been down as a first team. However, I'm changing that to squad, which we'll discuss later when we announce what we believe our best 11s are. Again, I think this was one of Sellers' signings.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only probably two that actually are. Bindon one and Louis Barry the other.
Right.
And again, I was expecting more from Barry. He looked very good in that first half against Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but he just lacks that cutting edge that, to me, that would make the difference. Like, he can beat the man. He's very good in the first 15 minutes of games, if you noticed. In just about every game we've had, he's looked decent. We've got the ball wide to him. And then he just sort of drifts out of the game. I'd love to see more from him, more of that cutting edge. But it's not just for him. We haven't created enough.
I mean, to argue with you slightly about it, Barry's got a very good pedigree. I mean, the lad signed for Barcelona. So he's no mug. You know, there's something about him. Me and you have never played for Barcelona. We're going to get nowhere near. Well, yeah. Obviously, you were. You know, that time at Staveley, you were very close. But Louis Barry, you know, he's got a decent pedigree. I wonder if it's down to physicality. I wonder if it's the fitness that you need to be at championship level. So you look in games, it can do that burst, as you said. You can see that. However, I don't think it lasts, does it, for a full 90, and it gets nowhere near 60, really.
I was having a conversation with a fellow Blade the other day, and I used the analogy of a poor man's Anthony Gordon.
Poor man's Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that one. That does fit. That fits well. So, Louis Barry, I've gone squad, and you said squad based on where we are now, yeah? Would have been first team before. Okay. Jibril Samari. Now, he's on a loan to buy from Braga. I had Samari as first team and one of the number ones on the team sheet. For me, he's still first team. What about you?
Yeah, he's that sort of borderline. You're right, he's on a view to buy. I believe that's if we get promoted, which obviously looks a long way off at the minute. I'm just going to say squad based on I don't think he'll play too much. I'd like to see more of him.
Yeah,
he's shown glimpses and he's got the stature, the presence in that middle at park that I think Peck is missing alongside him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In terms of Vinny Souza,
mm.
Obviously he's not going to be that level in my opinion at the moment. However, he offers that something that we haven't got in the squad at the minute.
Yeah, I think what you get with Samari is you get that minder role. You know, he's a minder for your more creative players. And what I like about Samari is he's nasty. There's a nasty edge to Samari. And I'm basing that on the Birmingham game. And to be fair, at Swansea, he got stuck in as well at Swansea. And a lot of our comments are based on Roy's view, aren't they, Jonny, and what the people have said about these signings. So if you are wanting a bit more in depth around what fans from other clubs are saying about these people, please check out Roy's view, because you see what people are saying about these people day in, day out, aren't you, Jonny? Yeah. But yeah, for me, Samari, I've got him as a first teamer, ideally for me. Right, that takes us on to Ben Godfrey. Godfrey has joined from Atalanta. If you listen to the people that claim they're in the know, which we're not, Godfrey's the highest paid player in the history of the world or Sheffield United ever. I like Ben Godfrey, and I've got Ben Godfrey down as a first teamer. What about you, Jonny?
Yeah, absolutely. First teamer, although I believe he was going to be signed as a centre-back.
Yep.
The players further down the line who we're going to discuss, materialised and we signed some different players. Therefore, we didn't sign a right back. Sariki hasn't lived up to the level at the start of this season that I was hoping.
I could have told you Sariki won't live up to that.
So Godfrey is going to play right back, isn't he?
That's what you say.
I can't think of anyone else who's going to play in that position.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see in a bit when we predict our best 11. Not so sure about that.
But apart from that, I think he's a class signing. He'll be one of our better players this season. So,
yeah, well, I genuinely, all joking aside, big Ben Godfrey fan. I like him. He's a ball player. He's strong. He's very, very athletic. Very athletic is Ben Godfrey. Can get up and down. I think on Blades Pod they describe him like Kyle Walker back in the day when he was a bit raw. Obviously, he's nowhere near Kyle Walker's level. But in terms of playing that centre-half style or that full-back style rather than a wing-back style before Walker developed all his pace and got ridiculously athletic, Godfrey's quite similar in that he can get up and down, he can tackle, he can head, he can chase, and he can pass a little bit as well. I mean, we'll talk about his final third stuff a little bit later when we talk about our best 11. So that was Ben Godfrey. We're now at Nils Zetterstrom. He joined us from Malmo, the same club that we signed Anel Ahmedhodzic from. I've gone for future for Nils. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely future. Undisclosed fee again. Malmo believed to be around 2 million. He's been capped for the Swedish national side.
And that's not bad, really, at his age, to be capped for the Swedish national
it's decent.
side.
He looks a big lad.
Yeah.
Which we were severely lacking when Anel, Kiefer Moore and Vinny Souza left.
Yep.
Severely lacking that height. So, again, I believe he was signed and it's pushed him down from squad player to future by the players and the depth that we've actually signed further on in the window.
Yeah, I get that. And obviously, you've mentioned this a couple of times now, Jonny. We're going to talk about United's transfer strategy when we grade the transfer window out of 10, aren't we, later on? But there has been a flurry later on in terms of signings. I think Zetterstrom's a good signing. I really, really do. Again, he's another one I'd sign definitely on Football Manager. Big lad, very tall. He's one of the kind of people that you would like to try and see if you're taller than, into Jonny. See if you're taller than him anywhere in a pub and see whose head you can brush on the ceiling.
I am taller than him, yes.
Of course you are. Absolutely. So that's Nils Zetterstrom. Takes us to Danny Ings. Danny Ings, bit of a left field signing. I love Danny Ings' tattoos. He's got more tattoos than me. Sorry, Mum. Big fan of Danny Ings. Like him as a player. However, we signed him on a free transfer from West Ham. Dirty. I've got him down as a squad player. What about you?
Yes, squad player. Although we're only one injury away from him being the first team player because of the lack of depth up front for me. So yeah. I was pleased with the sign. He should bring some experience, and I think if he gets the chances, he will score. Mm-hmm. He's still looks quite mobile.
Yeah,
and it was hard to say because it was the whole situation against Middlesbrough was poor, but it looked like he was wanting to get involved and get on the ball, and he had one of our only shots at game that were blocked. So, but he looked lively when he came on. I remember him turning, I believe it was a Nell inside out in Premier League at Bramall Lane. That game when we drew 2 West Ham, turned him and decided him down, and I think Ward Prowse scored penalty for West Ham late on. So yeah, he still looked sharp then. That was only a couple of years ago. So yeah, good signing fit level, good pedigree in Championship as well.
I mean, he's a good player, Danny Ings, and it's a bit of a theme that crops through these signings. And I mean, you don't listen to a lot of the podcasts, do you, Jonny? But I obviously do, and I listen. you follow the stuff on social media because I don't like anyone, so I don't have social media. But you could see all season they've been saying about United have got a lack of leadership and a lack of character in the squad. And I think what Danny Ings offers is character. And it's leadership with a small L, in that he's not going to be captain. However, he's going to be one of those players that can just lead by example. He can offer that little bit of advice, can't he? He can just step up that little bit more and lend his experience to people.
Yeah, like you say, you've got two players who you have as your captain and your vice, and then you've got that next band of players where there's 4 or 5 who are that experienced old heads who bring you that experienced leadership, not the captain, but that experienced leadership in dressing room.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said for that. There really is. So Danny Ings, we've both gone squad, but I think there'll be more to the squad, as in he'll lend himself to the squad, won't he? He'll contribute to that. So that was Danny Ings. Japhet Tanganga, first teamer. We've signed someone else's best player for me. I don't think you're going to argue with me on that one, are you?
No, he's first teamer. He's our best signing of the summer. If we'd have signed him in January and spent the money on him instead of Cannon, we would have gone up.
Yeah.
We were a decent centre half away from going up. And just to touch on last season very quickly, I think that was Wilder's biggest issue that the fans had with him, the lack of dropping Robinson for Holding.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've signed Tanganga, dropping Robinson for Tanganga is a lot easier than dropping him for Holding.
We're not going to debate it because it's still very raw. However, I agree slightly in that I feel the reason we didn't go for a centre-half in January, and we may as well talk about it because you've mentioned it now, you've picked that scab off. So I remember walking up, it was Plymouth away, long trip, and I'm walking up with Fordy's brother-in-law, and I said, we haven't signed a centre-half because we feel we've got enough depth, and a centre-half is not sexy. It's not sexy to spend £10 million on a centre-half in the Championship, and this is coming from a centre-half who considers myself very sexy. It's not sexy to sign a centre-half in the Championship for that amount of money. Go on.
Yeah, just very quickly skimming over last season, Cannon was the one, the big money signing, and that was more to make a statement, in my opinion, by the board.
Striker's sexy, Jonny.
Yeah.
Strikers are sexy.
Striker. And to be fair, when he signed, everyone were optimistic, but it didn't work out. So back to Tanganga, quality signing. Against Middlesbrough, we would have lost that game 5-0 if he wasn't playing. It was absolutely quality, and you can see why we've been after him for so long.
But again, I stand by it. Strikers are sexy. Defenders, goalkeepers, are not sexy. A striker is. A striker's a sexy signing. They're going to score goals, and that's what people watch football for, isn't it? But that's Japhet Tanganga. We both agree. Great signing. Best signing we made this window. Am I wrong? Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Right.
So that's Japhet Tanganga. We're now on to Heath Chong from Luton. Now, he's a long-term... long-term. Long time we've been after Heath Chong, haven't we? We were linked with him a while ago. I remember him running as ragged for Birmingham that day at Bramall Lane under Slav. He just looked amazing. He was the best player on the park that day. He was absolutely incredible. I mean, we did start with Lys Mousset and Ollie Burke in a weird 4-3-3 formation, but still, he looked great. I've wrote down one thing and I've realised I've not actually picked him in my 11, but I've got him down as first team, even though he's not in my 11, just because I like him that much. What about you?
Well, I've put him in my 11.
Have you?
However, I'm going to say squad So I'm going to do the opposite of you because
Well, you're an idiot. Contradicting yourself.
I don't feel this clown will play him as much as we should do. He's exciting. He gets you off your feet. Bramall Lane needs that at minute desperately.
We do.
They need somebody who's direct, going to get off their feet. He works hard wherever I've seen him play.
Yeah,
He gets stuck in. He's got that low centre of gravity, quick at turning, brings other people into play, and I have put him into my squad, my first team squad in a bit when we discuss.
but you said he's a squad player.
But I'm saying he will be a squad player. Yeah.
So I've picked him as a first teamer, but
you're
not picked
putting
him in
your
my
squad.
11. Oh, yeah.
And I've put him as squad, put him in my 11 because we're not the ones picking the team on the match day, are we?
Well, it's because we're both thick, that's why.
No, we're absolutely not. This clown is incorrect, I'm afraid.
Is it on Sayers? It's not on us.
100% yes.
All right, I'll give you that. So that's to Heath Chong. Alex Matos. So he signed from Chelsea. Now, we signed him permanently, which did surprise me. I said to you, as soon as the links came out and all those that are in the know had said, oh, Alex Matos. Now, when I listen to Not the Top 20, you don't, do you? But I listened to Not the Top 20 and they raved about him on that because I think it's George Alex, Oxford fan, said he was great last season. Said, decent ball winning midfielder. Think N'Golo Kante, given his height and how he can get up and down, his energy. Permanent signing, spent a lot of money on him. I've gone first team. What about you?
I've gone for squad. Just because he's classed. He actually said that he's a holding midfielder.
Right.
So I don't think he'll play enough. We've got a couple of people who can play that position in Samari and Peck. I don't think he'll play enough to be classed as a first teamer, and he's got the age on his side. So he is one of the signs that you could tick the box on all three.
It's a hell of a lot of money.
It's a lot. I agree. It's a lot of money. Tom Cannon were a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Is he in your 11?
No, Tom Cannon's nowhere near my 11.
It's a lot of money.
Look, as Doxy said, the Titanic was unsinkable. However, Here we are.
Exactly.
It's a lot of money, though, for a squad player for United, and it's a lot of money for one for the future, 8 million quid for us. It's a lot of money. The thing is, I think, at the end of the day, we've played football, haven't we, Johnny? We played to an okay standard. We've watched a lot of football over the years. We've seen the evolution of football and what have you. And there's now a big hype around a ball-winning midfielder that has to be 6'4". They've got to be able to head it. They've got to be able to tackle. They've got to be able to do this. They've got to be able to do that. However, the best holding midfielder for me is still Claude Makelele. And he could headbutt me in the chest. He's that small. And Matos seems in a similar mould, doesn't he, from what you've seen and what I've seen?
Yeah. I just like him to have a bit more championship experience. He's had a taste, obviously, at Oxford. He played for Huddersfield on loan as well, but I just think a bit more experience, and we've got more experienced players in our squad.
So I went first, you went squad on Matos, but as you said, maybe all three categories, which is an absolute
He's the one that you
cop-out.
could argue all three. Yeah.
Yes, cop out answer. Chidozie Ogbeni joins us on loan from Ipswich. If you read Roy's View, they say that the Ipswich fans are not happy with this one. Despite the formation I picked later on, I have gone Ogbeni as a first teamer. What about you?
I have gone squad player. He is one who won't start every game.
Too good to be in a squad player.
He is a very good player. I've rated him ever since he was at Rotherham. However, he will not play every game.
Right.
I believe he's had fitness issues over the last couple of years.
Yeah. He weren't fit last season, were he?
Therefore, he won't be first team, in my opinion. However, he is another one who you can liken to Chong, that he will excite you. He's probably a bit more direct than Chong.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more pace,
Yep.
bit bigger stature.
Yep.
Yeah, I do like the signing.
Yeah, I agree. Good signing.
Look at the first game back. He isn't in the squad, is he? Because he can't. I would imagine he can't play against Ipswich. So
no, I agree. He can't play at Portman Road, can he, Friday night? But good signing. Good player. Mark McGuinness, left field, won this one. Didn't see this one come in. I remember watching him play a few times for Wednesday. It looked awful. I've signed him on Football Manager a few times as a freebie from Arsenal's academy. Looks okay. Big lad. He might be taller than you, Jonny. He might be taller than you, Mark McGuinness. Luton's... You what?
Joint 6'4".
Joint. Good lad, good in the air. Luton spent a lot of money on him. I've gone first teamer. What I do like about Mark McGuinness, though, he's 24 years old. I think there's potential to be a future captain. Matt Bloomfield had said that, hadn't he, about him at Luton. I like Mark McGuinness, first teamer. What have you said?
I put Mark McGuinness down as a squad player. So I do like McGuinness.
What are you talking about for a squad player?
24 years old, and he has a lot of experience for that 24 years. So very, very good squad player. He doesn't make my 11 based on the formation I'm playing.
No one can see this, but I'm pulling a face at this. This is just absolute nonsense. Carry on.
Obviously, I know more about football than Matt, but we'll not go there on this pod. So, yeah, McGuinness, squad player, been around quite a number of years, offers a lot of experience, big lad, which I do think we are lacking.
Yep.
However, I don't think he gets in at centre half in a 4-4-2 over Tanganga and me when both are fit.
Okay. Ben Mee. So Ben Mee joined, it seemed like 2 days after the transfer window. I was asleep, as always. Joined us on a free transfer from Brentford. I've got squad for Ben Mee, but I think similar to Danny Ings, he's another one that will contribute to the squad. What about you?
I've put Ben Mee down as a first teamer. Now, he offers something that we are lacking.
What's that?
An experienced centre half. You've got him and Tanganga together. Solid. Right. He's left-footed.
Yeah.
He's playing left-sided centre half for me.
Yeah, but you don't need to be left-footed to play left-sided centre half.
It gives you that greater balance. I like a right-sided right centre half, and a left-footed left centre half.
Oh, so you can kick it further.
So Ben Mee offers that experience. He's been promoted a couple of times out of this division.
Yep.
He 35?
Yeah, 35.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant signing, and I've put him down as first teamer if he is fit. And reading the reports and listening to his interview when he signed, he's been training non-stop since the end of May, so to keep fit. So I appreciate it's different training to match fitness, but he cannot do worse than Bindon, in my opinion, so he will go straight into the side.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you that Ben Mee is a very good signing, but for me, he's a good signing for the squad in that he will offer his leadership, he'll offer his experience, he can coach other players, he can guide such as Bindon. Yeah, Tanganga's 26? He can give him a little bit of insight and stuff. I mean, cards on the table, Ben Mee's our age, isn't he? He's been around the block and he's achieved far more in his career than we ever will.
I just like that balance because I think he's the old head on that shoulders is going to help Burrows get forward more. With him being left-footed, I just think that the balance is going to be a lot better. So,
okay. So that's the last of the ins for us. The ins are always more interesting because once you're gone, you're dead to us. We don't care where you've gone. So what we'll do, we'll rattle through the outs very quickly, Jonny, because I'm conscious of people's time. But if there's a couple we want to talk about, we might just talk about them in a bit more detail. So we'll say what we've given. And then we just might skip back over a couple of them at the end very quickly. So Brewster went on a free. I said no choice. What about you?
Yeah, no choice. Same.
Vinny Souza. I went for no choice again on Vinny Souza.
Yeah, I've put no choice based on didn't want to be here. So what is the point keeping an unhappy player? We've seen that we've got quite a few unhappy players at the minute, I reckon. I think everybody can see we have. So another one, I didn't want him to go back to his Premier League days where he was sulking every week and getting into spats, which if we were holding him hostage at the club, the famous Josh Windass in handcuffs emoji, it would not have sat well with us. So yeah, decent enough money as well, although he has left a big hole.
Yeah, I agree. And I had a lot of time for Vinny Souza, particularly the Championship version of Vinny Souza. It was probably too good for the Championship, not quite good enough for the Premier League. However, I always think back to $1 Million Baby, the great film, and they said about he had a left hook like a tank, and if he'd have hit it, that would have hit it, it'd have moved the tank straight on. But his heart was a little bit small. When the chips were down, Vinny Souza wasn't a player you could always rely on. If it wasn't going his way, he didn't like it. And you said it yourself, there's a lot of arm waving and there's a lot of blaming and gesticulating and stuff like that. So that was Vinny Souza.
Yeah.
Ahmed Odzic, I'm going to say good business. What about you?
Again, I'm going no choice based on my argument I've just done with Souza.
Yep.
I think 7 million for one of the best centre halves in the Championship's not great. It depends which report you believe.
Yeah,
because they've said it's up to 15 million. Some people reported, which is then good business. Mm-hmm. But the 7 million, I feel we could have got more for one of the Championship's best centre halves.
Yeah, maybe. My thing is, I just feel with Ahmed Odzic, 1 year left on his contract, there was always the uncertainty. I know he came out and said he loved United and hated his dad, and this, that, and the other. However, I just think it's good business for someone in the last year of their contract, but not quite fully invested. And he wouldn't have signed a new contract. Let's accept that. He wouldn't have signed a new contract. So I think it's good business from United, really.
I think it was the elephant in the room for a while because such as him and Souza were always going to want to progress onto bigger and better things. So if we'd have gone up, they may have stayed, but they may have gone as well. So yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those where it's the borderline between good business and no choice.
For me, if the fee is right, what people are saying, I think it's good business for United in that we didn't lose him on a free. He wasn't Ryan Brewster. He wasn't Ollie McBurney. You know, we got a decent fee for him. And that takes us nicely on to Kiefer Moore. Kiefer Moore went to Wrexham. This one divides the fan base. I have gone for good business. What about you?
I don't agree with the selling of.
Yep.
Simply because...
Well, what have you said then? Is it good business? Is it a mistake or is it no choice?
It's a mistake, obviously, if I don't agree with it. So we're going mistake because we lack that focal point up top. Right. We lack that big man to chuck on if we're chasing a game late on. What other option do we have? Ryan One. Now, a quick one for the first game of the season, losing to Bristol City 4-1. He brings 6'3", 6'4" Ryan One on.
Yep.
Big lad. Free kick out on the left-hand side. Burrows has stood over it. you think, let's get it in. Oh, no, he's in box. No, he's not. He's stood next to Burrows for short. To me, I brought a 6'4" striker on. He should be in the box. Kiefer Moore would have been in the box. A lot more a threat. I just feel he would have fit nicely into the squad player. However, I do think Kiefer Moore is better in a team of underdogs. Now, Wales nails that for me. Watching him play for Wales is the centre of everything. He gets battered, he gets bruised, he wins everything, he works like a dog. Now, for Wrexham, in the games I've seen him, he does exactly the same for Wales.
I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, right? So Kiefer Moore, for me, when we signed him, I was like, yes, I like Kiefer Moore. I like his track record. I like everything he's done. I like that he's a big, big centre-half. However, Kiefer Moore was the type of player that I like to play against. And I'm only 6'1", but I like to play against Kiefer Moore. And I'll tell you why, because he's slow. He's slow and he's big. And he wasn't great with his feet. You talk about this hold-up play. And yes, look, I defended Kiefer Moore a lot last season when he was getting slagged off around us and what have you because of how hard he worked. However, we're a top of the table championship side.
Are
we were. You need to do more than what he was doing. I mean, I remember sitting here New Year's Day, nursing a slight hangover, watching Kiefer Moore against Sunderland, and he was absolutely diabolical away. And for me, Moore had too many games like that. He also, all right, he's younger than me, but he was starting to show his age. He was getting injured, and it took him a long time to recover from knocks. So we didn't get the best version of Kiefer Moore. And that's why, for me, when Wrexham are going to offer millions, which is what they've offered, and we've taken, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's good business for United. It's good business.
Yeah, I just believe that when they've sold Moore, they was also expecting to sign another player who divided opinion in McBurney.
Now, you mean
Hull?
You mean our love child, Ollie McBurney?
Yeah. So if we had a baby, that's what it'd be, Ollie McBurney.
It will look like Ollie McBurney. Yep.
I do believe that Sellers thought, or the club thought, that McBurney was going to return. Therefore, Moore was surplus. And if you're wanting to progress as a club, I get what you're saying about Moore. If we went up to the Premier League, Moore would have played last 10 minutes of games, maybe, if he'd even stayed.
Honestly, I've nothing against Kiefer Moore. I genuinely, when we signed Kiefer Moore, I was very, very happy. Despite calling him Kafir, I thought that's a great signing. But for me, he didn't live up to the expectations I got because he wasn't reliable.
So, just a slightly different way of looking. Moore or McBurney?
McBurney. Go on then.
I'm on the fence. I probably wouldn't be able to choose between them. I just think, possibly Moore because McBurney, injuries, like you said, with Moore, but he also chucked in too many daft cards.
But that's what we got, though. We got the injured version of Kiefer Moore.
Yeah.
My thing with McBurney, despite his size and how good he is in the air, he's not an out-and-out target man.
No, he's also got age on his side with it.
Yeah. But if you would say to me as centre-half, who would you rather mark, Kiefer Moore or Ollie McBurney, I would always pick Kiefer Moore. Even Kiefer Moore, and Kiefer Moore's massive. He's bigger and harder than I am, but I would always mark Kiefer Moore because he's not as mobile. However, McBurney can do stuff and he can play a little bit more than what Moore can. So he always offers you that a little bit more. And he could play the channels, couldn't he? He were a channel runner, and over 10 yards, he were fast. you know, and he just had a little bit more about his game. So, I mean, I knew that we'd argue about Kiefer Moore because I know that he's your hero and you've got a giant life-size portrait of Kiefer Moore up in your house.
Definitely not, but yeah.
Well, you know, we'll agree to disagree on that one, Johnny. Okay, the next one, which I'm absolutely certain we'll agree on, Ivo Gerbic. He's gone out on loan to Rizespor. I've got that's the best business we've done other than selling the man. What about you?
I'm absolutely devastated, to be honest. I thought he was here to challenge Cooper. No, he's. I don't actually think he's a goalkeeper.
No.
I think it's that old off when Mike Bassett signed on that series, the wrong player. So, yeah, Gerbic is not a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's probably the worst goalkeeper in our history that I've seen, definitely. And that includes Lee Baxter.
Really? Worse than Lee Baxter?
100%. Consistently worse.
Yeah.
I thought he was a cardboard cutout for a couple of games. So, they're straight down middle and he's parrying it in. And you're like, or diving out it way.
For people that might not know, Johnny, Lee Baxter, why is Lee Baxter so famous?
On his debut away at Burnley, he let 2 absolute abysmal goals in the first half at Turf Moor. Therefore, goes down in folklore as terrible goalkeeper. And we brought in 2 keepers at the same time, him and Alan Fettis.
Yep.
And Fettis ended up playing a couple of games, so it just shows how bad Baxter were.
Well, Baxter had the ignominy, didn't he, being substituted at half-time away at Turf Moor. Yeah, there's nothing worse as... I mean, you were a goalkeeper, were you? But there's nothing worse as a goalkeeper having to be subbed off at half-time.
It's not even one of them you could hide behind the injury because everyone knew it because he'd made 2 horrendous mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, Ivo Gerbic, he's gone and dearly missed by everyone at Sheffield United, if you're listening, Ivo. Jefferson Casares, an A1 signing, as my dad would say. He's gone to Dunfermline. I just think that's fine. Good business. Get rid. See you, Jefferson.
I'm saying good business based on the fact that he allows us to allocate an extra ESC place, therefore bringing in Zetterstrom.
Absolutely. RND, Reece Norrington Davis. He's gone on loan to QPR. I like Reece Norrington Davis. I feel sorry for Reece Norrington Davis. As a fullback, decent player, really unlucky with injuries. As someone that struggles with the knees, I get it. It's just awful for him. Good business. It's good business for him. Gets to play at championship level, hopefully, at QPR. We might get a player back. What have you got?
It's good business. It brings me back to my argument earlier of that balance at the left side. What did they ever see in him to play him at centre half? Basically, because he was left-footed and he could play there and Burrows couldn't.
Hey, you're the man that was raving that we signed Ben Mee to play left-sided centre half.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying to you. So, what? But that is the only reason that he could have been picked at that, is what I'm saying to you. Because he was left.
Well, they're saying he had a decent pre-season. However,
not even 6 foot.
I agree. Norrington Davis should be nowhere near centre in a back 4.
I also feel really sorry for the guy.
Yeah.
Because that season under Hecky that we got promoted, he was outstanding until his injury.
Yep.
And then he came back in the Prem against Luton away.
Oh, bless him, yeah.
And got injured straight away.
Yeah.
Now, if that hadn't happened, would we have then gone on to sign Burrows? If Norwich Davis had stayed fit, would we have then pursued Burrows? Obviously, Burrows is a much better player, but I'm just saying things seem to happen for a reason. And
Well, Burrows he's a better player going forwards, and he's more creative and stuff. Well, we're not going to debate it. We're not going to debate it now. We're not going to do it now. R&D, we're both saying good business. It's good business for him. Good business for the club. Hopefully, he comes back fitter, better player. Jamal Baptiste, he's gone on loan to Rotherham. Good business.
yeah, business.
Yep. No to say on Jamal. Bless him. Right. Jack Robinson. Ole, ole. He's gone to Birmingham. I have said very good business because cards on the table, I didn't like Jack Robinson. I liked that he was hard. I liked that he would get stuck in. I liked that he was the kind of player, if there was a fight, he'd be there and he'd throw someone to the floor. However, top-end championship side, you don't need Jack Robinson. You don't need him as centre-half. You don't need him as left-back. If it was Football Manager, and I know I've referenced Football Manager a few times tonight, I would sell Jack Robinson straight away. So I think that's very good business for United. I also think it's very good business for Jack Robinson. He's got himself a great deal going to Birmingham. It's a 2-year contract he's got at Birmingham. Very, very good deal for Jack Robinson. What about you?
I've put this as a no choice based on he clearly didn't want to be there anymore.
Yep.
He's come out since and said he's gone as far as he can on the journey with us.
Right.
And it was clear to me that sellers didn't fancy him from day one.
Yeah, I get that to a degree.
And
I get that
I've
to a
also
degree.
touched on it earlier in the show that what it was Wilder's biggest mistake last season, persisting with Robinson.
Yeah, and you and I have had that conversation a few times, haven't we, about Jack Robinson? I just think it's good business all round. So that is the ins and outs of Sheffield United thus far. So transfer window as a whole, controversial this for me. I am going to go 8 out of 10. And I'll tell you why. Because I felt last year we did good business. We were in a mess. We loads of players had gone. The contracts were up and what have you. And we had to build a squad again. Now, what we've done, we've built a very, very good squad for this level. And Sayer said that himself. I know you don't like him. But Sayer said that himself. We're building a very good squad. And we have. We've built the depth. We've built the quality. People can say what they like about the owners. They can say what they like about strategy. I always think with stuff like this, I don't have millions of pounds. I don't have millions of pounds for a reason. I don't own a football club for a reason. Because A, I'm not smart enough. B, I don't understand enough about the financial world to have that amount of money to invest in a football club. So we can all oversimplify it as much as what we want and say the owners have got no idea, they've got no strategy, blah, blah. They've got a lot of money, they're very successful in their fields and they've clubbed together and bought a team. What they're trying to do now, they've clearly looked at it, they've consulted people and they've built a decent squad. So for me, I don't feel you can slag the owners off because I think the owners are slightly victims of circumstance, slightly victims of context in that we're in the Championship, which means you don't get the best players. You don't get your first choice players. If someone's that good, they're not going to be playing for you in the Championship. They're going to play for someone in the Premier League. And that's the way things are. And business is always late in the Championship because the Premier League get first dibs, then we get the next, then League One gets the next, then League Two gets the next. Unless you're Birmingham in League One, then you can maybe supersede us. Or you've got your own Disney series, Wrexham, and then you can start bidding for people because people want more likes on Instagram and TikTok or whatever it is. That's what they're after. So I just feel it's been a decent window and we'll give it 8 out of 10 for me. What about you?
I've actually gone for 8 out of 10. I do think it's been a very good window.
There we go.
I just think that in the end, we've made these extra signings
Yep.
and chucked money at it rather than dealing with the issue of the manager. So I do believe that the owners, you can't fault the owners for the buys we've made. Obviously, they've not spent a lot of money with the outgoings when you work out what. However, the depth is there. I just think we've strengthened at the back. You can quite clearly see. I would have liked a right back.
Yeah.
I would have liked a right back. I would have liked possibly a centre mid.
Yeah.
And I would have liked another striker because I do feel that is our lightest position. Campbell is never fully fit. Danny Ings is our age.
Yeah.
So I would have liked another striker, but I do think it's been a decent window, probably comparable with the one last summer, which I said was our best ever window.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and
it's up there.
Yeah, it is. And, I agree. And I get, look, people talk about strategy. People want to hammer the board for this, that, and the other. And I know that people are going to say I'm some woke idiot because I'm trying to be level-headed about all this. But everyone has a strategy and everyone has a plan until you get hit in the face. And that's Mike Tyson. And United came in, look, the owners looked at that squad, they came in, thought, actually, you know what? They can carry up, we can bring his own man in, we can be a bit more creative, we can try a bit more. They had a plan. And then United got smacked in the face hard because that Bristol game was an inverse or a reverse or whatever the term is of the Portsmouth match term last season, where Portsmouth battered us. But every chance Portsmouth had went slightly wide of the post or hit the crossbar or Cooper saved it. And then the board and everyone had to sit up and just go, actually, maybe we haven't got enough. So we've got to sign these players now. So we can't just rely on signing good young players and selling them for more money and hoping that the boys that are in the first team can get us up. So they had to make that kind of decision. Go on.
So that's where your AI went out the window, is what we're saying. So
to a degree,
I don't feel a lot. Like we said, I've said two of these signings are seller signings, in my opinion, and the rest aren't. Somebody else is pulling the strings on these signings behind the club. We've gone for a lot of players who we've been after for a number of years. Mm-hmm. And just going back to that Bristol City game, I think that could have gone either way, that game, because of how good attacking we looked in that first half, which has then changed the whole strategy of Sellers, because he realised how open we were and he just put the shackles on the team.
But that's my point, though, isn't it? Everyone has a plan. Yeah. We've all got a plan until we get punched in the face. Yeah. Mike Tyson said that. You've all got a plan. You walk into a fight, no matter who it is, you've all got a plan, and then you suddenly get hit in the face. And then it all goes up. And I think since that Bristol game, we have been playing the Bristol match ever since. We've been playing that Bristol match over and over again and trying to keep it tight. Hence the defeats. 1-0 to Millwall. 1-0 at Middlesbrough. 1-0 at Swansea. We're trying to look more solid at the back because we realised it was an absolute car crash at the back up to Bristol. And we can't attack because we need to be tighter at the back. And as a result, it's just been a mess. Been an absolute mess. But we've got into the performances again. We said transfer, so we both agreed transfer window, 8 out of 10. Yeah?
Yeah, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. And genuinely, I know people say other stuff, and there's a lot of revisionist stuff about the Prince and this, that, and the other. I mean, we're only mid-30s. United are spending more money than I ever thought we'd ever spend at any point, ever, at anything. You know, think back to that side from like 97, that we had when we got to the playoff final and lost to Crystal Palace. We spent good money then in the Championship, which is probably like not quite as much as what we're spending now, but relative-wise, it wasn't bad. Then we've had the years of obscurity after that, and Warnock did it on a shoestring budget. We can't knock what we're investing now. You know, anyone that can remember it, it's not bad, is it? Really?
No, I don't think we sell players as willy-nilly now. Obviously, we sold Sousa and Anel. However, that was the players who wanted to go.
Yeah, but we're Sheffield United. We're not Manchester City. We're going to sell players.
Over this summer, when we didn't go up, if McCabe was still there, we would have touted the services of Burrows and Cooper and Amer 100% elsewhere. We would have touted those out.
And you're
that's
right.
Not what we're doing.
You are right, because everyone, other than the best 4 or 5 clubs in the world, is a selling club. I've heard that a few times. Everyone's a selling club because you've got to be, because you're not the best club in the world. The difference is now, like you say, we're not proactively selling, are we? We're not proactively selling like we were before. So we agree, 8 out of 10. We agree for different reasons. It's been a good window. Right. Your reviews, Jonny, stay or go. You did very, very well. I'm not going to run through the full list for everyone. You got 2 wrong out of the ones that we talked about last time. You said that Gus Hamer would go, and he stayed, despite what everyone in the know was saying. I've seen Gus Hamer get in a taxi. And all that nonsense. Gus Hamer has stayed. And you said that Wu would was a yes, and he'd join. Wu didn't join. I don't know enough about him. I've watched Hal's video on YouTube. Don't know enough about the lad. I mean, I know you wanted a right back. I'm not that bothered. Go on.
That is the only reason I thought Wu would join, because we're incredibly light at the right back area. Godfrey's not a right back, however, he will end up playing there. And in terms of Hamer leaving, I just felt with the start we've had, his performances don't look like it's hard to say he's not interested. He's just not getting the system, and none of them are. And I don't think we're getting the best out of him, so I thought he would go.
So, best 11s. Best 11s. Do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
I'm going to let you go first, so I can upstage.
Oh, you could tell me why I'm wrong.
Correct. Off you go.
Right, so obviously it's Ivo Gerbic in there. No. So I have gone for a back 5. My midfield's a bit messy. And then I've got one up top. So I've gone Cooper in goal.
Yep.
I know your man Gerbic is not involved, but I've gone Cooper in goal. Then I've gone right centre-half Tanganga, mid centre-half McGuinness, and then I've gone Godfrey at left centre-half. I've gone Godfrey at left centre-half because he can play a little bit. Stop pulling a face at me. I've gone Godfrey left centre-half because he can play a little bit.
Yeah,
Burrows left wing-back.
Yeah.
Ogbenny right wing-back. And I've gone Ogbenny right wing-back because he's played there before.
Right.
He played there before for Rotherham, so he can do it, and he can do it at this level in a terrible... Stop interfering with my team. He's done this before in a terrible team. That Rotherham side, yes, they did well against us that season. However, they're not a great side. Or they weren't a great side, sorry. So Ogbenny can play right wing-back. I've gone him because I think he's better than Siriki, and I think putting Godfrey out there at right wing-back will be an absolute disaster. Now, midfield... I have gone for the forgotten man, Ollie Arblaster, playing quarterback. And I have to keep reminding everyone I talk to that Ollie Arblaster is still a Sheffield United player, and he's still the best midfielder for me at the club. He's a better midfielder than Gus Hamer because of what he can do. So I've gone Ollie Arblaster just dropping a little bit deeper and playing that quarterback role. I've then gone for Matos and Samari as 2 ball winners. with
Yep.
Gus Amer playing a 10. And I hate saying that phrase, playing a 10, because I'm not good enough to actually say that. But Gus Amer playing a 10, or just that free role, just doing what he wants. Because he's got 2 holding midfielders and he's got Ollie Arblaster dictating everything in that deep role. And then I've gone for Tyrese Campbell up front because Tom Cannon's crap. So that's my 11. So the formation I've got is a 5-1-3. 5-1-3. That's how many players?
Yeah, gone. Right. So my team is obviously Cooper,
Yep.
Godfrey, and I think this will be close, very close to what the team will be. Cooper,
Yep.
Godfrey, right back.
Yep. Yep.
Tanganga centre back, me centre back.
Yep.
Burrows left back.
Yep.
I've gone Samari and Blaster together.
Okay.
Very similar balance to Souza and Blaster.
Yep.
Samari and Blaster together. I've gone for Gus Hamer out wide on the left, getting back out there where he won Championship Player of the Year. Most effective out there. I've gone for Chong on the right.
Right.
And then I've gone for O'Hare behind Campbell. Balance of that side is very similar to what we had last season that was successful, getting 90-odd points.
That's why you've gone for that. See, I love a back 5 because of the versatility it gives you, and the formation I have picked with a back. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is just us, isn't it, choosing, Johnny? We're not saying what we think. You've said that will be closer to what the team is. I've gone for what I think is our best 11 on paper. You know what I mean? However, it's always going to be up for debate into what people reckon on this one. This was hard for me. I don't know about you. I found it hard because of the depth that we've got in the squad now. We've got such a depth in our squad. I just feel that we need to keep the defensive solidity. You're saying it's negative. I don't think it is negative. We need to keep that defensive solidity. But I feel a 5 will lend itself to being quite dynamic and being able to go to a 3 at the back, suddenly turning that into, 5 in midfield. Or even you could push Ogbenny and Burrows right up with a back 5. They can actually just shove the entire way up. Go on.
Yeah, I was close to picking a 5. I was close. However, I just think like when obviously our most successful period and best football we've played were 5.
Yeah, it were.
But both our right centre half and left centre half went forward. Then your quarterback came into play, Oliver Norwood.
Yeah, he did because he had to drop in.
But to me, your Tanganga and your Godfrey won't get forward as much as Basham and O'Connell did.
I disagree slightly with Tanganga. Tanganga will because he's played fullback and he played fullback for Spurs. He can do it. Tanganga can get forward. I mean, look, the overlapping centre.
He's our best defender, though. Yeah, I appreciate that's good. But what I'm saying is with the back, with the deep line midfielder. But I think it'll be close. I think I wouldn't mind if you played a 5 at Ipswich.
Mm-hmm.
So play a 5 at Ipswich gives us some more solidity at back. But I just think he's going to persist with a 4. I think he's going to go for the Godfrey at right back, Tanganga, me, Burrows.
You might be right, Johnny, in that being the realist, that's what we're going to get. As a realist, we're probably going to have a back 4, but as an optimist, I hope that we're brave enough to go for the 3 or the 5.
Let's be honest, both formations we've chose tonight would be better than what we're currently doing.
So you say that, so that takes us nicely on to the last point of tonight. Ruben Sayers, how long has he got, do you reckon?
So, if we fail to get a positive result at Ipswich, and by positive I mean either a draw or a win, he will be gone.
So you feel even if, right, I'll put this to you, if the performance is better, and Ipswich do what they did against Birmingham, which was cheat and get a penalty in the last minute. Ipswich didn't cheat. It was a poor decision. If Ipswich are awful, United are the better side, but Ipswich score a goal off someone's toe in the last minute and we lose 1-0, but United are incredible and their keeper has an absolute blinder, but it looks like all the pieces have clicked in, you still reckon Sayers gets the sack?
Yeah, 60 feet out of 6, axe time, I'm afraid. Burnley weren't good to watch last season and went up.
Yeah.
We need results. We don't need to be attractive to watch at the minute, and that's what... We're not anything to watch at the minute, are we? We're just like a bunch of dogs in the park. So...
I do get that. There's not much going on.
I'd love for him to go down there and win and just turn it around, but let's be honest, it's not going to happen. I feel we're beyond that.
I understand this podcast has gone on far longer than what we intended, but it's been a very, very busy transfer window. Everyone's still trying to get to know each other now. They're still writing each other's names down on little placemats to figure out who each other is in the dressing room. But thank you if you have listened to it. As we said in the first episode, if you like it, keep listening. If you don't worry about it. We're not bothered, are we, Johnny? We've got enough friends. Those 2 people that we know, they don't mind us. So I've been Matt. He's been Johnny. We're going to pass you on to Shaun Needham to play us out. Up the Blades.
Up the Blades.
Don't rock, go, rock, freak, don't stop.